Hi guys, I'm Stevie. If you haven't seen it yet, I'm in a video called Gay Men Touch a Vagina for the first time on my friends Bree and Chrissy's channel. It's going viral right now, and I thought I would make a video and answer some questions that have been flooding in and talk about my thoughts and feelings. Feedback has been mostly positive and amazing, and I am so grateful that I have a viewer base that is understanding and supportive, and I love you guys so much. You the true MVP. When we filmed the video, each guy spent about 10 to 15 minutes learning about my vulva. These men were acknowledging and appreciating the vulva, and I honestly don't understand why it's so shocking or progressive, but that's me. But the filming of that experience is obviously for entertainment purposes, and I'm not gonna argue that it's not. It is a first-time video. It was filmed to capture honest and real reactions to something that these men had never experienced before. With that being said, only a small percentage of what happened made it into the video. One of the guys said to me, "Wow, I always was wondering how a baby fit through there, but now that I see that it's so big." It's because he thought my entire vulva was the vaginal opening. So then I showed him where the actual vaginal opening was, and it blew his mind. I don't care what your sexuality or sexual orientation or sexual experiences are. I think it's kind of ridiculous that anyone who is an adult is not exposed to basic anatomy. But before I talk about my personal reasons for why I was super excited to do this, I'm gonna answer some super frequently asked questions really quick. So here we go. A lot of people in the comments are assuming that I'm straight. I'm a lesbian. A few weeks before this video went up, Bree and Chrissy also uploaded a video called Lesbians Touch a Penis for the First Time, and I got a lot of questions asking why did they wear gloves when the lesbians didn't to touch a penis? It's because vaginas are much more susceptible to bacterial infections than penises are, but the short answer is that's what made me comfortable. I didn't want to take the risk of that 5 times with 5 different hands, so I asked that they would wear gloves. Were they complete strangers? Yes. With the exception of Neil, who I've met a few times and consider a friend, they were all strangers. Did you get aroused? No, this was not a sexual experience for anyone involved. The question that I am receiving by far the most is about my girlfriend, Allie Hills. Is she okay with it? Does she think it's cheating? Was she there? Was she jealous? Allie was actually right behind the camera the entire time. When Bree and Chrissy asked me to be in the video, I asked Allie if she was comfortable with it, if she had any reservations that we could talk through, and she looked at me like I was crazy. She said, "Why would I care? You're the perfect person to do this video, and I can't wait to see it." Because my girlfriend knows me very well. I love my vulva. I make videos about periods and vaginas, and I'm very passionate about talking about female sexuality and anatomy because for some crazy reason, it's super taboo. Tell them what happened when I asked you if I could be in the video. What'd you say? Yes. What'd you say? That's not what you said. Here is one of the Christmas presents she got me, which is a coloring book, and it has lots of pretty vulvas and information, and like, look how pretty, they're so beautiful. I can't wait to color them. I think I'm gonna frame them. I don't know. So like she knows me pretty well. What a great gift. I love it so much. What advice would you give teens and kids about getting a proper sex education? I am not a doctor and I have not been trained in sex ed, but I'm doing my best to constantly learn so that I can make funny videos that are also educational and fact-based. If you are not happy with the kind of sex ed that you are getting, speak up. Point out if it's sexist. Point out if it's leaving out things that you want to know. Ask the teacher, ask your principal to implement more sex ed because you're interested and you think it'll make you a more educated member of society. One of my favorite YouTube channels is called Sexplanations and is hosted by Dr. Doe. Go watch her if your school is lacking in sex ed and also just because they're great videos. Also tell her I sent ya. I personally grew up where and when it was completely illegal to teach children that anything was acceptable other than abstinence. They actually taught me that if I wasn't abstinent until marriage, that my life would be ruined. I was told that if I swam with boys in a bikini, that I would get pregnant and my life would be over. Even in places where sex ed is fact-based, they often don't teach about homosexual relationships and homosexual sex, and they definitely don't normalize trans and intersex people. I don't know, but they like specifically treat vulvas and vaginas like they're this special flower. Like, what? It's this secret place and women are inherently modest. Why are boys raised to believe they have a penis and girls are raised to believe they have a private place or a shh zone? Or don't you look at it or talk about it or touch it? Shh. It's a little special feminine place that you just keep it a secret. Beware of Voldemort, she who must not be named. Because of this, lots of women have a very difficult time talking about their vulvas, even in a medical way, much less a sexual one. I didn't even take a mirror to look at my vulva until I was probably 20 years old. And don't tell me it's only in America. They edited an entry in Anne Frank's diary for school kids because they thought that her describing her vulva was too mature. Because that is somehow more mature content than the Holocaust horrors. And in Japan, it is illegal to depict the vulva in any way. And at the same time, they have penis parades. So, yay, double standards. But there is a Japanese artist who makes art with her own vulva and then like hides it in the art, and it's so good. And she got arrested for it, and you can buy her art. And this is another gift that Allie got me for Christmas because she knows me so well. Secret pussy art. Something I like to point out is in the video where lesbians touch a penis for the first time, none of them were shocked by what it looked like because for some reason everyone knows what a penis and testicles look like, but no one knows what a vulva looks like. Why? And I'm not trying to say that this video is educational in nature, but it has a ton of commentary, and I thought I would explain these things and how I feel about them because I think it explains why I would chomp at the bit to make a video like this or to be a part of a video like this, because I'm so proud of my vulva. I talk about it all the time. Bree and Chrissy knew that. All of my closest friends were like, oh, of course Stevie's in this video. But ever since this video, I've kind of been like reflecting on why I'm like this. Why do I like vagina art? Why am I so proud of my vulva? Because apparently that's not the norm. I'm gonna talk about something I've never talked about on the internet before. When I was 4 or 5 years old, I was molested by an adult family friend. And I didn't tell anyone for, I think, 4 years. So then I told my family and they pressed charges. And then I was examined by a doctor and they found that my hymen was intact. And so the lawyers or whoever, the courts, decided that because I said he had touched me on the inside and my hymen was intact, which is so medically inaccurate, I must have been lying because I didn't know that my vulva wasn't my vagina. I didn't know that that wasn't the inside. So then I was told I was lying or that I must have dreamt it, or as I was basically gaslit as a 9-year-old about my own body. And I didn't know that that's why charges were dropped until way later. And when I found out, I was so angry because I felt betrayed not only by my own family and the courts for saying that I was lying and not protecting me like I thought they would. I also felt betrayed by, I just felt like I was owed some kind of education. If I had known the difference between a vagina and a vulva, that would have put a child molester in prison. He got arrested for possessing child porn years and years later, and he's in prison now. So I don't know, how are we to expect little ones to, I don't know. Yeah, this is how I honestly feel and honestly believe. So instead of asking the question, oh my God, why would Stevie do such a video? Maybe you should ask yourself, why wouldn't I? What makes you feel like I shouldn't? That's what I think is unnatural and dangerous. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Usually there's a penis there. Do you shave around there? More of a treble from Star Trek than anything.